It's looking like that vegan teacher's online presence is finally all over. Every strategy she used to stay relevant has failed. Every stunt, every feud, every shocking claim hasn't managed to bring her back. She's now struggling to pull even a few thousand views per video, and her live streams have significantly fallen off over the last couple of weeks. Nowadays, she's making any claim possible to garner the last bit of attention, even if it doesn't relate to being vegan in the slightest.
Forced circumcision of baby boys it's offensive, and it should be illegal. It should be illegal, that's right.
Her career collapsed, millions of followers are gone, yet she still acts as though the world is at fault. But now, it seems like she might be starting to realise this entire veganism push was one huge mistake, as things couldn't possibly get any worse than they are right now. I'm Indart, and as always, make sure to subscribe with notifications on. If you haven't seen my 2 previous videos on that vegan teacher, one summarising her career collapse as a whole, and the other going over her awful live streams, here's a super quick summary. That vegan teacher, real name Katie Karen Diekmeyer, built her name online by aggressively pushing veganism by whatever means necessary, judging anyone and everyone who didn't adopt her views.
Can I get the most expensive item on the menu?
I wouldn't know what that would be by heart. I think it would be the steak palatable.
Okay, yeah.
Steak, he just said yes to steak. No, that's a definite X. Don't do that. Why are you promoting the murder of innocent animals? Those cows did nothing to you.
She targeted celebrities, religions, royal family members, animals, you name it, she's going after it. Eventually, her TikTok account, which had multiple millions of followers, were permanently banned, and the entire internet was super happy with this outcome.
Let's go! Woo!
She then started streaming on YouTube instead, where she abused the Shorts feature to pulling multiple hundreds of thousands of viewers every time. The streams were petty.
You know, every time I see women with those fake fingernails on, all I think of is, ew. Like, I would hate that.
Targeting innocent individuals.
I would give you some advice right now about this boyfriend. He's a dickhead, okay? You're on a live stream with somebody who has 1.2 million followers, and he can't shut the f up so that you can do something good in the world, like read a vegan card. Dump him.
And nothing more than complete rage bait to attempt to become relevant again.
So what I don't like is when somebody is out there waving the pride flag and they're so proud that they're gay or lesbian or trans, but then they have intestines filled with innocent sheep inside. I'm not okay with that.
Even after losing almost 2 million followers, that vegan teacher hasn't slowed down. If anything, her recent stunts are more bizarre than ever. Take her approach to pets, for example. She suggested that dogs should follow a vegan diet.
Dogs are not carnivores. They don't need meat to thrive. They need protein. Thanks to evolution, dogs can thrive on a complete and balanced vegan diet.
Nutritionists and pet owners alike called it dangerous.
That dog's not gonna live long if it can't eat meat.
But she doubled down, insisting she was teaching kindness while completely ignoring the fact that dogs are naturally omnivores and need proper nutrients to survive. What makes things worse is that Katie openly fed her own dog a vegan diet and documented it everywhere. She always insisted that her dog loved eating the same way that she did. It would become more obvious that this was no longer a joke when she uploaded a video titled, "At Sniper Wolf, your dogs should be vegan by now." This video is absurd, and I'm surprised no one has talked about it more. At certain points, she starts comparing dog food to animals with a knife.
Would you honestly be able to go out with a knife and hurt another animal and bring a body home to your dog if you knew it wasn't necessary?
Later on in the video, she states that dog food means paying people to the animals.
So don't pay people to animals for you. That has to stop. And that includes for you as well.
And obviously, she had to finish off with her famous line. comparing animal farming to the Holocaust.
Help me get all the other animals out of hell who are suffering, who don't have a life like this, who are stuck in Holocaust-like conditions, behind bars, who never get to see the sky or get fresh air. I mean, it's just horrible. The poor chickens. It's awful.
Many of the comments openly accused her of animal abuse, and there were multiple petitions to save Bella because viewers were genuinely worried about her dog's health. A post on the r/dogs Reddit reads, "That vegan teacher worries me. I saw a video of Bella, vegan teacher's dog, getting fed the vegan food, and she was visibly suffering because of it. She uses the excuse that she is still alive when people say it is dangerous to the dog. Yes, she is alive, but she is, again, starving and suffering due to a lack of meat." They've linked numerous videos of her entire family ignoring the dog and just carrying on with their day. So much so that more top comments read, "Bella probably prays every day so God can help her get away from you." Another controversy you likely haven't heard fully is that she explicitly stated she wouldn't sign an organ donor card if it meant a meat eater could receive her organs. Her reasoning was that people who eat animals are evil, and she didn't want her organs going to someone who would keep animals. The intro of this specific video is probably the most insane thing you'll have heard today.
And as a nurse for 25 years, I used to tell everyone, yeah, of course you should sign your card. Why wouldn't you? We need a great society that cares for one another. But then I became vegan, and I realized that the vast majority of you are evil. Evil people. And I don't especially care if you keep living.
She verbally refused to donate any single organ from her body.
No, you can't take my heart. You can't take my eyes. You can't take my lungs or my kidney.
That vegan teacher even went as far to say that she won't donate to her own family because they eat meat. And the only way she would is if they became vegan before she died.
You're gonna think to yourself, well, of course she's gonna donate to her own family because she's completely inconsistent. She will have one rule for those people and another rule for her family. But you'd be wrong. No. If somebody in my family is dying and needs my kidney or needs my bone marrow, they can't have it. Not unless they're vegan.
The entire situation made it to national news.
And a vegan activist has been slammed for saying she won't donate her organs to evil murderers. That is, people who eat meat.
Where they talked about how absurd it was.
But the evil here is a woman like this ranting at people saying, I'm a murderer, saying I'm evil. And frankly, she's looking for attention and we're giving it to her.
And people replying to it actually made a really good point. Don't call us cruel or evil when you would let another human being die while being very capable of preventing it. This moment right here shows the pattern we're talking about. Her beliefs didn't just push veganism, it insulted anyone who didn't agree with it. And that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way.
Your own kid is in a hospital about to die and you have the chance to save him, but you're like, hold up, didn't my kid eat McDonald's when he was like 4 years old? You want to be saved, son? You're going straight to hell, bitch.
After her main account was banned off the platform, she went as far as creating the teacher account, claiming it was to teach morality through veganism. Even people who agreed with veganism found this irredeemable. She also had that vegan teacher verified, that vegan nurse, that meat teacher Miss Tofu, and that vegan teacher who sings. Every single one of these accounts has been terminated and permanently removed from the internet. Moments like this are exactly why her reputation never recovered. Because every time she had the chance to step back, apologize, or simply move on, she doubled down instead. Which is why today, when the people see her content, they're no longer thinking about veganism. They're thinking about everything that went wrong along the way. But even that wasn't the last time she dragged herself into completely unnecessary controversy. At one point, that vegan teacher somehow managed to start drama with one of the most unexpected people imaginable, Tommy Innit. At the time, Tommy was only 16 years old, and he posted a normal TikTok about being surrounded by women at his college.
Hello TikTok, I'm at college and surrounded by women.
Now, there was absolutely no need for that vegan teacher to intrude here, but for some reason, she did. She stitched the video and said she would be able to help him find a nice vegan girlfriend.
Don't be scared, Tommy. Just follow that meat teacher, Miss Tofu. She'll help you find a nice vegan girl who will teach you what to do.
Considering she was a woman in her 50s responding to a teenage creator, the post immediately made people uncomfortable. Many fans of Tommy Innit duetted the video, calling her an absolute psychopath. They were asking why she was making strange jokes at a 16-year-old Minecraft YouTuber. It got so crazy to the point where she had to respond to all the backlash she was receiving. But instead of apologizing, she once again doubled down and blamed everybody else.
What is going on with the videos of you and Tommy Innit? I don't know. I mean, this kid, I had no idea who this kid was. If you just look at the duets from my videos, you will see complete insanity.
And moments like this kept stacking up, because instead of focusing on her message, she kept inserting herself into random internet drama, targeting creators who had nothing to do with her. Which is exactly how her reputation slowly shifted. People were no longer seeing her as a vegan activist. They were seeing her as a creator who constantly crossed social boundaries just to stay relevant. And when that becomes the reputation attached to your name, it's incredibly hard to recover from it. At this point, outrage is her only tool left. In my previous video about her, I covered how she abuses the YouTube short stream feature to pull multiple hundreds of thousands of viewers every single stream. But the engagement is minimal, and her uploaded content fails to convert viewers into real fans. She cycles through the same old arguments: moral superiority, animals over humans, and shock tactics that used to work, but now they just make her look out of touch. Although lately her live streams have seen a huge decrease in numbers. It wasn't hard for her to rack in over 500,000 views on a livestream from 2 months ago, but today, more than half of her streams can't even surpass 100,000. She's desperately trying to create drama, waving pride flags around, lanyards that are obvious rage bait, and read things like, "Why are vegans kinder than God?" Her decision should be a legal video received some temporary attention. The entire 1 hour stream goes over why forced separation of baby boys is child abuse and should be illegal.
And then we wonder why so many crimes in the world are being initiated, being started by boys. Why is that? So many boys end up being criminals. Well, because they were sexually assaulted and they were just little babies. At least that's part of the reason. How can it not be?
However, it's not translating into long-term relevance. And the same is true for every new stunt. The shock factor isn't shocking anymore. Everybody is well aware that Katie is doing this for any and every part of attention she possibly can get. But everyone is simply tired of her owning a platform. The internet that once watched her out of curiosity now mostly ignores her entirely. Millions of followers are gone. Her YouTube uploads barely surpass a couple thousand views. And the few moments she does go viral now usually aren't because people support her message. It's because people can't believe what she's saying. And when your entire online identity becomes a list of mistakes that people laugh at years later, it's hard to imagine there isn't at least some level of regret there. Because whether she admits it or not, the internet has already moved on. Bobbi Althoff's first podcast failed so incredibly badly that she got booed off the platform, became hated by almost every celebrity, and had her entire family divorce and abandon her. While most creators would see this as a sign to step away from the internet, Bobbi did the exact opposite. Instead, she resurfaced with a second podcast, this time under the name Not This Again, with a fresh start and supposedly a new direction. Except it barely made it off the ground. The show lasted just 4 episodes before she gave up entirely.
I knew when I started that it was going to go places. I didn't know I would fall off as quickly as I did. To be honest, I did think this was going to last a bit longer.
Every video now gets bombarded with dislikes, and her comment section is filled with nothing but hate. Hit pause as soon as the video started, since I'm only here for the comments. This is a good reminder that all bad things do come to an end. Left her husband and child to be passed around by C-tier rappers in LA. Absolutely horrible mother. So it comes to no surprise that her YouTube growth has basically flatlined. Her Instagram is now losing thousands of followers every single day, and the name that she's built for herself is nothing more than a running joke across the internet. TikTok is where she started, and with over 8 million followers, you'd expect content that is somewhat entertaining. But it was really nothing more than dry sarcastic humor.
Yes, I did name my daughter Richard. I just always really loved the name Richard, and I wanted a boy, but I had a girl, and I decided to name her Richard anyways, and she loves it, so I don't really know why people have a problem with it, but you can take that up with her.
Well, posting content around being a mother ended up working wonders for Bobbi, as within only a matter of months, she switched her entire branding to be under a podcast. The Really Good podcast was officially launched on the 2nd of June 2023, and right from the get-go, things were off to a promising start. While most podcasts are talkative and flow nicely with every conversation, Bobbi's was the exact opposite. The conversations were completely dry and just straight awkward.
All right, I think that probably concludes this. Thank you for coming. Do you want me to come on your podcast next?
No.
Why not?
I didn't have a good time with you.
Okay, that's fine.
By episode 2, she was already co-hosting with Funny Marco under the exact same conditions as last time.
Would you say that you're easy?
Mm-hmm. Oh, like easy to get along with?
I mean, however you want to take it. You said yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty easy.
That's good. Me too. I feel like I need to start having standards for myself.
You don't have standards?
I dated a girl in a wheelchair.
Okay, there's
No, but I'm telling you, she walked out my life still.
Sorry to hear that.
This singular episode went on to gain over 5.5 million views and pulled in 140,000 likes at the same time. Comments flooded in with how refreshing it was to see something different in the podcast scene. It's rare that 2 people I've never heard of make me laugh for an hour straight. This was special. This interview is like dialing 2 cell phones, putting them on speakerphone, and having 2 random people talk to each other. This feels like a competition to make each other break character, and it never happens. However, towards the ending of the episode, Bobbi briefly brought up this.
I don't believe that I'm not your type.
But nobody really paid any attention to it, as everyone simply thought it was a joke. It wouldn't be until her next episode with Drake, where she asked the same thing.
Am I your type?
I'd do it.
Thank you.
Except this time, it didn't go unnoticed. You see, the original podcast with Drake amassed over 20 million views, and Bobbi was happily married to her husband Corey with 2 kids as well. Things started to take a turn for the worst later on in the Drake interview when Bobbi said she missed her daughter's first birthday just to be with him.
I flew all the way here
You did. I really do appreciate
on my
that.
daughter's first birthday.
I wasn't going to bring that up.
Hmm.
You missed your daughter's first birthday for
To be here.
Dark. Regret that you'll never be able to undo.
Yeah.
Horrible parenting.
Where's your son?
Somewhere safe, and it's not his birthday.
When's his birthday?
What does it matter? It ain't today.
Clearly her husband wasn't too happy with everything Bobbi was doing online, as within the same month as the Drake interview, Corey filed for divorce, proving that Bobbi clearly had her priorities set and that her family wasn't near the top of that list. The news began spreading like wildfire, and it was covered pretty much everywhere online. Some creators dug further to prove that her husband wasn't just divorcing to take money from her because of how successful she was.
And before people say, oh, he's probably divorcing her so he can get a piece of the money that she made from her very successful podcast, Corey's actually a senior vice president of a very successful company, and so they're both really successful people. And alongside with that, when he filed for divorce, he checked a box saying that he doesn't want alimony, meaning that neither of them have to pay one another after the divorce.
Where all the comments started to turn against her as well. A wife who meets, hangs, flirts, and chills with celebrity guys on a daily basis. Who would want that? I feel like when she didn't have money, she was all about her marriage and family. But now that she doesn't need his money, she seems to have different priorities. This comment right here summed it up perfectly, as now it started circulating that she was lying about her financial status this entire time.
I don't have any money.
None?
At all. I have debt, actually.
You have debt? How much debt do you have?
Right now, I have like $20,000 of debt.
She, at times, would ask her co-host for amounts up to $20,000.
I just think that you should give me $20,000.
I mean, I could.
I know you could.
But it was just a bad example.
What, because other people would ask you for $20,000?
Yeah, every podcaster on the planet.
Okay, let's just say right now, on the record, no, he's not going to be giving me any money. Okay? And then off the record, can you give me $20,000?
Like under the table, like...
Yeah.
You really think I'm an under the table guy?
Yeah.
I'm not.
But please.
No.
10,000.
No.
But older clips surfaced that she used to be making multiple hundreds of thousands every single year.
I was making around like $250 to $300 a year.
$1,000?
Yeah.
From brand deals?
From brand deals on TikTok.
Wow.
And $250 is great and all, but it's hard to come up with content with just me every day.
$250,000 a year as an annual income is great.
As a result of this, the views started declining with every new episode that she would release, up to the point where she had to call it quits on the show entirely.
This is the last episode of the Really Good Podcast, and it has been a dream. I will miss doing this podcast, and I will miss the money this podcast brought me.
You know you've screwed up big time when your videos now receive 4 times the amount of dislikes compared to likes. However, there was only a total of 22 days of silence on Bobbi's behalf, as she teased on her Instagram a video of her walking with Drake on what looks to be a rerun of another podcast. Well, this was in fact the case, as the following day she posted new pictures of the Not This Again podcast, even showing that her first podcast was utter garbage. Roughly 2 weeks later, the first episode released, and to say it was a disaster is a huge understatement. It was supposed to be a fresh start. Instead, it felt like a painfully obvious attempt to recreate the one moment that ever worked for her in the first place: Drake. Before even watching the first episode, keep in mind what Bobbi wrote in the description. The show is back, sharper than ever, with a new episode every month. It's a more elevated version of my last show. higher stakes, and fewer chances of anyone making me delete it. Not only is this just not true at all, she even openly left the M- within the sentence, giving off speculation that AI probably wrote this itself, with Bobbi just pasting it into the description with no effort whatsoever. From the opening minutes, the episode has no direction. There's no structure, no real topic, and no sense that Bobbi actually has anything new to say. Most of the runtime is again just awkward banter and forced chemistry that only exist because Drake is sitting next to her. The conversation jumps from clubs, to shoes, to bedsheets, to biting nails, to random travel complaints, all while Bobbi repeatedly tries to brand the show as much more refined. And almost immediately, the desperation shows. She openly jokes about needing to act more pleasant just to land brand deals.
Is that what I need to get more brand deals, be more pleasant?
Hey now.
She frames the entire setup like a flex, turning the location and Drake's money into part of the spectacle, as if the environment itself is supposed to replace actual substance. At one point, she even calls it the first episode no one asked for.
Welcome to the first episode that no one asked for.
Which ends up feeling less like self-awareness and more like an accidental admission. The rest of this podcast leans heavily on revisiting her past fallout with Drake. Bobbi spends a huge chunk of time reframing the original interview, her divorce, and her career collapse as something misunderstood rather than mismanaged.
I love my kids, but that doesn't mean I had to. People had never heard of divorce before me, apparently, because they really hold me to a higher standard than anyone else in this world.
She paints herself as a victim of public perception, claiming that losing Drake's cosign is what caused other opportunities to disappear, subtly shifting responsibility away from herself and onto the situation. Meanwhile, Drake does most of the talking. He dominates the conversation, explains her own life events back to her, reframes her career for her, and repeatedly saves the entire podcast when the conversation stalls. By the end, practically nothing has been said. It's just two people laying around in a luxury hotel bed, name-dropping, joking about travel, and industry drama. It didn't help that speculation started about the two getting into a relationship, as they had begun spending weeks alone together, even posting questionable photos on her Instagram that regular friends would never take. Nonetheless, the rumors were denied. But it still wasn't a good look when the top comment of the video stated, "I feel like a third wheel watching this." The following 3 episodes all received less and less views every time. Her most recent episode with Trevor Wallace was posted over 2 months ago, and it's practically the exact same story all over again. Instead of a bed in a luxury hotel, it's a rock climbing wall. But the effect is the same. The setting becomes the content. Most of the episode isn't about Trevor, his career, or anything interesting. It's about how uncomfortable he is.
I can't stop laughing at how uncomfortable you are.
I just have no hips, so it's just going straight into the scoliosis.
Where his legs are.
I think my legs went purple.
They're not.
How he's sitting.
Okay, I'm good. How are you that comfortable?
Whether he's sweating.
Why are you sweating?
What?
Whether something should be blurred.
Yeah, hey. Okay, oh, sorry, blur that.
And it's just like, who would even want to watch this? The top 3 comments are all on Trevor's side, even going as far to call the new podcast a dumpster fire. And honestly, that looks like exactly where it's headed. Her channel is barely gaining any subscribers these days. She didn't even post her recent one with Teddy Swims on YouTube, as she would be afraid of how poorly it would have performed. And apparently, now she's attempting stand-up comedy, as seen on her Instagram, and while she is still getting support from other celebrities, the vast majority can come to an agreement in just 3 words. It will suck. There was a point in time where Jojo Siwa had the entire internet in the palm of her hands.
They tell me that I am setting the record for the youngest guest host ever.
At just the age of 19 years old, she had achieved a net worth of over $20 million and more success than most people could ever dream of in their entire life. From one of the world's most adored child stars, Jojo Siwa seemed unstoppable. She was the kid with the bright bows.
How many bows are there in your collection and what's your favorite?
There is definitely, in like my personal collection, over 1,000, 100%.
Her own mega viral songs, and an energetic personality that made her a role model to millions of kids around the world.
Hearing adults say, I wish I had someone like you when I was little, that makes me know that the kids that are little have someone like me too.
Exactly.
But somewhere along the way, things changed. What happens when the brand that built her entirely began to unravel? She's being attacked for her insanely controversial rebrand, multiple disastrous song rollouts, and accusations of exploiting child performers. There's a reason Jojo Siwa hasn't gained a single subscriber in over 3 years, and her followers have been rapidly declining every day. The rise. The rise of Jojo Siwa is a bit more interesting than you may initially expect. Jojo's story begins on the TV show Dance Moms in 2015, where she immediately stood out. Her insanely energetic performances, paired with her constant oversized hair bows, made her one of the most prominent kids on the show. She was often considered a standout child, as she wasn't the quiet, shy kid in the back. She loved to be front and center, loud and confident, and she was never afraid to talk back if she felt like she deserved better. There are endless clips of her crying or being yelled at on the show.
She deserves nothing. Don't have an attitude that you are entitled in this world. You are not. You deserve nothing else. You earn it.
However, she seemed to have one main enemy that she could never sit right with. That person was Abby Lee Miller. Pretty much any video online of them consists of perfect reality TV.
Gia, do you know the order of the solos?
Jojo, have you learned nothing?
Don't. You are not in this dance.
I'm just gonna
put it down. No.
People began labeling Jojo as the bratty one on the show. Sometimes it came across as attitude, but almost every episode ended up with Jojo making majority of the screen time and becoming the ultimate star of the show. As she eventually left Dance Moms, she didn't fade the way that majority of the cast ended up doing. Instead, she leveraged that momentum into something far bigger. A fully fledged brand. Virality. Nickelodeon saw something rare in her. She had energy that never dipped, a personality that kids locked onto, and a work ethic that most adults couldn't even keep up with. So they signed her. And overnight, she became one of the network's biggest faces. In 2017, she would star in various projects. From lip-sync battles to her own shows like Jojo Siwa My World and JoJo's Follow Your Dream. This era turned Jojo from a TV personality into a global franchise. Music videos, tours, her own bow line that sold to millions of eager fans, TV specials, merch in every Target aisle, and she even had Jojo-themed slime kits. If you walked into a mall around this time, it was pretty much impossible not to see her face on something. Jojo worked non-stop. She was filming, performing, recording, and maintaining a crystal clear image 24/7. Her life became a product, and for a while, she dominated it. She wasn't only just famous, she was massively profitable. For Nickelodeon, she was a goldmine. For kids, she was an idol. For parents, she felt safe, wholesome, and positive. Needless to say, it was a job, a brand, and a personality all wrapped into one. She began singing and creating her own songs, where multiple have over 100 million views on YouTube, and her signature hit Boomerang managed to pull in over 1 billion. It seemed like she wasn't going anywhere anytime soon, and that she was here to stay forever. The first cracks. The first major crack in her career wasn't exactly all about her. It showed up with a simple misstep in timing. In June 2020, Jojo Siwa released a circus-themed video for her song Non-Stop. Included in the video were young dancers dressed in animal costumes. These ranged from lions to zebras, but most importantly, a monkey costume with brown face paint. The video dropped in the midst of the Black Lives Matter protest, and the internet being the internet took it entirely out of context. Many viewers saw the monkey costuming as echoing blackface, and therefore the hashtag Jojo Siwa is over party began trending on Twitter. People started hating on her for literally using face paint to make a costume, and eventually she had to craft up a response to what initially should have never been drama to begin with. She wrote, "I would like to address the music video that we shot for Non-Stop. We are talking about kids dressing up as circus animals. No one in my video is wearing blackface. It's awful that anyone's mind would even go there. Kids dressing in animal costumes, having their faces painted to look like animals, acting the part. There were zebras, tigers, dogs, clowns, mermaids, everything." While admittingly the impact on her career was limited, this was only the tip of the iceberg for what was about to come. She dug herself deeper. In January 2021, Jojo posted a photo of herself in a t-shirt reading "Best Gay Cousin Ever," which led many fans to believe that she was coming out. In April of the same year, she confirmed in an interview that she was pansexual.
No, I would never, ever would have said, like, I am straight, I only like boys. I found my human and my human's a girl, and so I was like, all right, now it's time to come out, let's do it.
As a result, she became a visible LGBTQ+ figure. She was invited to Pride events and performed in the first same-sex couple on Dancing with the Stars. It looked like a new chapter of authenticity and representation, but the story gets more complicated. By April of 2025, Jojo said she had begun questioning different aspects of her gender identity since entering the celebrity Big Brother house. She stated, "I've always told myself I'm a lesbian. I think I realized I am not a lesbian. I'm queer." However, at the same time, she confirmed that she was now dating a straight man, Chris Hughes.
How's that going? It's going very well. It's going very well. He is the brightest light in my life. He's the thing that makes me the happiest.
So while her public brand started out very clear, as bright, positive, and kid-friendly, attempting to rebrand her image and explore her sexuality in new ways left many fans unsure of who she actually was. Other fans and members of the LGBTQ+ community felt betrayed. What once was a symbol of queer youth representation had turned opportunistic or simply confusing. If you're gay 1 minute and dating a man the next, they ask, what does the identity stand for? The failed rebrand. Frustrated with her child star image, Jojo attempted an insane rebrand. She traded pretty much everything rainbow for black leather, rock-style makeup, and a new musical persona. She declared she wanted to launch a new genre called gay pop and claimed she wanted to pioneer it.
I said, I want to start a new genre of music. And they said, what do you mean? And I said, well, it's called gay pop. And they were like, what's that? And I was like, it's like K-pop, right? But it's gay pop.
The result? A video for her single Karma back in 2024 became one of YouTube's most disliked videos ever. While it did amass over 50 million views with 400,000 likes, that's nothing compared to its 2.6 million dislikes. The video was premiered to YouTube, meaning everybody could watch it live for the first time together, and the commenters in the chat didn't seem to be too fond of what Jojo was releasing. Am I the only one that doesn't like this? This is so bad. You still have time to unrelease this. I'm making the assumption that this specific scene is what everybody is talking about, so it came to no surprise that essentially everyone accused her of overreaching. However, it doesn't even stop here. Fans quickly realized that the song wasn't original to JoJo. It wasn't even new. It had been recorded over a decade earlier by another singer, and a version had circulated online. Soon after, people also found old footage of Miley Cyrus singing a demo of the same track. The internet wasn't mad that JoJo sang a song written by someone else, as that's relatively normal in pop. What pissed them off was the marketing and attitude surrounding it. JoJo hyped Karma as if it was a bold, original shift she created herself, calling it her new sound and edgy reinvention. She also faced accusations of copying established queer pop culture, as she failed to realize there are already numerous singers creating queer music like Lady Gaga and Elton John. Fans saw her remark about inventing gay pop as ignorant and just saying whatever she feels like to get as popular as possible. She was well aware that she was already past her prime and was desperate to achieve the same attention she once had. Can it get any worse? While the public was focused on sexuality and image issues, the deeper and arguably more damaging blow hit behind the scenes. In February 2024, a major investigation by Rolling Stone detailed serious allegations from former junior members from JoJo's girl group project, XOMG Pop, about mistreatment. One member, Leah Sanderson, who was born with spina bifida, claimed she was forced into rehearsals almost instantly after spinal surgery. For context, spina bifida is a type of neural tube defect where the baby's spine and spinal cord do not develop properly during the first month of pregnancy, sometimes causing health problems. In severe cases, it leaves the spine exposed and easily damaged after birth. While Leah was mocked by the staff for her disability, she was given zero proper rest or schooling and was paid virtually nothing despite multi-million-dollar merch deals. The motto on set allegedly was, "It's not a good day unless you make a kid cry."
I worked really hard for it. You know, I'm the rapper of the group, and it's just, not so pleasant to see somebody just take it away from you like it's easy. I don't know why they didn't think that I was very good, and I don't want to be the person who gets left behind.
Multiple news outlets ended up covering these allegations. It was made public record that some of the parents signed NDAs while Leah's family did not. Both JoJo and her mother denied everything, calling the claims 100% provably false. But for many fans and industry watchers of the group, the story confirmed doubts about the seriousness behind JoJo's morals and caring for anyone that works for her. The collapse. By 2025, the accumulation of missteps is weighing on JoJo's career. Her record label reportedly split from her, and her tour is criticized as nothing more than a VIP experience scam. Her mismatched image shifts, being too adult for her once child audience and too inconsistent for mainstream pop, led retailers to continuously pull back from signing her anymore. The very audience she built, both kids and parents, felt left behind, and the LGBTQ+ community that once embraced her now sees her with skepticism. She is mocked on shows like Saturday Night Live, where someone dressed up as her in her bad girl rebrand and acted like a complete idiot.
Oh my god, JoJo!
That's what I call it! I'm a bad girl now!
Yeah, JoJo, this is a very different look. We're all used to you wearing outfits like this, but now it's this.
Yeah, that's a pretty big change.
Yeah, and how old are you, JoJo?
Well, from 2011 to 2023, I was 8. But now I'm 20 and gay. I'm the first gay girl in the world. Bet you never met a gay girl before.
Illuminaughtii built her entire career exposing other people, calling out scams, breaking down creators, and building a reputation as someone you could actually trust. But right at the peak of her career, that completely flipped. Because after accusing another creator of copying her content, people started looking into her instead. And within days, former friends, employees, and even her ex-boyfriend all started speaking out, accusing her of manipulation, trying to ruin people behind the scenes, and using her platform to go after anybody she didn't like.
What I can only describe as retaliation from the person who's my ex, former employer, and prior colleague, Blair is in the process of currently foreclosing my home.
I'm Indart, and this is how one of YouTube's most trusted commentary channels, Illuminaughtii, turned into one of the most hated, and what she's become now. Before all of this drama, Illuminaughtii wasn't really a controversial creator. She wasn't loud, she wasn't constantly getting called out, she just made clean, well-edited videos exposing things that most people didn't even know about. That's what made her so successful in the first place. And over time, people started to trust her because of that. If she made a video on something, most people just assumed she'd done the research. And for a while, it worked perfectly. Her channel kept growing, her videos were pulling millions of views, and she built a pretty solid reputation for herself. But the problem with building your entire career around calling other people out is that eventually people start looking a little closer at you. And that moment came in April 2023 when she decided to call out another creator. She accused a fellow YouTuber, Legal Eagle, of copying her editing style. Not her ideas or her content, but just the way the videos looked. Which is kind of a weird thing to call someone out for, and almost immediately, people started pushing back. Not because they were defending him, but because the claim just didn't really make sense. Those video styles weren't unique at all, as they were used everywhere on the platform, and instead of proving her point, it just made the whole thing feel kind of petty. And that should have been the end of it. Simply a bad call-out, maybe a bit embarrassing on her behalf, and then everyone moves on. But instead, it did the exact opposite. Because once that happened, people started looking deeper into her. And this is where things started getting messy. Within days, people she used to work with started speaking out. Creators she collaborated with, and people from behind the scenes in her team all started to tell pretty similar stories. One of the first was The Click, who was someone she had worked closely with before on a group channel called Sad Milk. So this wasn't just some random person speaking out. And according to him, when the cameras were off, things were completely different from how they looked online.
She did this, she paid people to dig up dirt, make alt accounts, harass me for months.
He described Illuminaughtii, real name Blair, as controlling, difficult to work with, and someone who would go after people if things didn't go her way.
My main grievance was her insistence to create new rumors and slander about myself, one topic, and others after we left, and how she wouldn't leave us alone.
And then more people started backing that up. Other members from that same group shared similar experiences. And by this point, it stopped looking like one person being upset, and more started looking like a pattern. And from there, it only got worse, because one of the biggest people to speak out was her ex-boyfriend, Oz Media. And what he was saying was way more serious. He accused her of manipulating him financially, putting him into debt, and controlling a lot of his life behind the scenes.
At the time, Blair had bad credit, so all of the purchases, loans, everything was being placed in my name. Eventually though, the financial responsibilities that I incurred would stack up on me, building a mountain of monthly debt that would lead me into several financially tight months, and eventually just breaking.
Things got worse when he mentioned putting everything legal under his name and leaving him stuck with the consequences once they broke up.
Blair is in the process of currently foreclosing my home because of this stress of Blair taking my home from me. I need to pump the brakes and change directions so I won't be homeless come Christmas.
And again, this wasn't just one random claim. It lined up with everything other people were already saying, which made the whole situation feel a lot bigger than just YouTube drama. Because now, it wasn't just about a bad tweet anymore. It was about how she had been acting behind the scenes for years. iilluminaughtii eventually responded with a long video addressing everything that had come out. And at first, it looked like she was actually taking accountability.
And I made a mistake, and plain and simple, I was wrong. I just want to reiterate that I messed up, and I'm sorry for any stress this may have caused you.
She apologized for the situation with Legal Eagle, and it seemed like she was going to properly address everything else. But then, things started to shift. Instead of fully owning what happened, she started resisting, blaming other people, and trying to reframe the situation in her favor.
Now, before we get into debunking many false statements that have been made about me, based on the definition of the word plagiarism, his claims are simply false.
And that completely ruined whatever chance she had left at recovering her reputation. If anything, it just made people trust her even less. Because now, people were no longer just looking for an apology. They wanted her to actually take responsibility. And when that didn't exactly happen, it just made everything worse. And after that, everything started falling apart. Her views dropped hard. Videos that used to pull in millions were now barely hitting anything close to that. Subscribers started leaving, and the audience that used to trust her just wasn't there anymore. And you could see it in the comments as well. Instead of people talking about the content, it was just filled with people bringing up the drama, questioning everything she said, and pointing out things they hadn't noticed before. It got so bad that she eventually disabled comments on every single video, leaving over 600 uploads feeling completely lifeless. By now, people weren't even watching for the videos, they were watching to see if she would address the situation once again, or somehow fix what had happened. Unfortunately, that didn't really happen. Therefore, people just stopped watching altogether. People over on Reddit started sharing what they thought her worst video of all time was. Arguably the one she did on accredited zoos and aquariums. She got so much wrong, and it showed in the comments. Hell, myself and several other people did an over 2-hour live stream covering the video, which was a little over 20 minutes long. That's how much she got wrong. This is when I stopped watching her religiously. I remember listening to the video and realizing she didn't know what the f she was talking about, which led me to question if she was lying in other videos where I didn't know the topic that well. But instead of just stepping away and fading into irrelevancy, iilluminaughtii tried to fight it. Taking things off of YouTube and into real life, she started filing lawsuits and going after the same people who had spoken out about her. That included her ex-boyfriend, Ozmedia.
I was mortified that if I spoke out against Blair or even dared to cross her, that she would retaliate with taking my home from me. When I did speak out, as many of you are aware, Blair sent me a cease and desist. A cease and desist, by the way, over a Twitter thread which she apologized for not only in her video, but as well as privately.
And at that point, it wasn't just internet drama anymore. This had turned into something a lot bigger and far more serious than anybody could have imagined. But after all of that, it just kind of ended. The lawsuit was dropped, no big conclusion or any final moment. She was just done. But realistically, it didn't even matter, because the damage was already done. The audience she spent years building was gone, The trust was never going to come back, and the channel that people used to believe in has no real chance of recovering. It's now been over 2 years since her last upload, and even then, you could see she was fully running out of ideas. Trump isn't charitable. In other news, Water is Wet is a complete mess. And now anytime somebody hears her name, they only think of the controversies that totaled her career. Her life has been completely ruined due to her failure of an online persona, and if she ever tries to return under another name, it's almost certain she'll get called out and forced off the internet once again.